Hello there everyone and welcome to another video here on the FM Scout YouTube channel. My name is Omega Luke and today I'm going to bring you something a little different. What I thought I'd bring you is a lot of people who have come across from the FM Scout website across to my actual personal channel have asked me time and time again, Luke, can you tell me your tactic and show more about your tactic? Because as you can see on the screen, from my beta save Let's Play, I've been doing very well, and this tactic is the reason for that. So as you can see from the very first game of the season in the Serie A, I took my first loss on the 4th of January, so it was like 14 wins in a row. Some big names in there as well: Juventus 3-1, Napoli 1-0, and it's very rare that I conceded a goal, so only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals in total, all the way up until I actually lost 4-1. So that was a game of set pieces. So what I thought I'd do is I'm going to show you this tactic. I'm going to explain a little bit more about this tactic. Don't really have to take note of the players because it's irrelevant to whatever team that you're at. So starting formation, I have gone for a 4-2-3-1. And it is wide and asymmetric. And the asymmetric part of it is that this player here, the deep line playmaker on defense, is classed as a DM and not a centre midfielder. So it's slightly different. It gives a little bit more protection. And it works well with the players I've got. However, I feel like it has that security for my defenders. And I see it in game. This player tends to be almost like sweeping up dead balls, second balls, that sort of thing, breaking up play really late on, whereas my box-to-box midfielder is normally too far up the pitch for that to happen. And any like quick breaks, which what I really actually notice about this formation is the goals that I score, the highlight starts with me on the attack, and say I'm going down this right-hand side or the left-hand side, either way, and the play gets broken up by their team, and they go on the attack and they try and counter-attack me. And what I realise, what I've noticed, is that straight away, I'll go more into it with the actual tactic itself, is that these three players, my two centre-backs and my CDM, tend to break up the play or win the ball from, intercept the pass, something like that, and start the attack again. And they start the attack very quickly, which tends to be how I then score the goal. And I notice it time and time again. And anyone who comes across and watches my Let's Play videos, and if you do, thank you very much, by the way. Massively appreciate the support I've had on the channel. Cracked 500 subs a lot faster than what I was hoping, so that is fantastic. A lot of you who have come across, and if you do eventually come across, what I implore you to do is when you're watching the save, when you're watching a game and the highlight starts and it ends up in my goal, take note on how many times I score from an attack starting and then getting counter-attacked, but breaking up the play as fast as they did and winning the ball back, counter-attacking them again, and then scoring. It seems to happen quite a lot. So this is my this isn't even my starting lineup, to be fair. This is just my last game. But this is the tactic itself. Sweeper keeper. I prefer the sweeper keeper. It doesn't bother me whether the keeper is like a ball playing keeper or fast keeper. I just prefer it with a high line because I'll go more into that anyway. Both fullbacks on attack, and as a fullback, not a wing back, I prefer the fullback position. I don't know why. I have two ball-playing defenders, and I tend to have one as a defender, one as a stopper. So the stopper was the main goal is to push ahead of the defensive line and close down the players, and that is the vital part of that last point that I mentioned, winning the ball back on their defense. It tends to be this defender here. This defender is dropping back with their striker, something like that. This one's closing down, and that's why it really works, because they have Masaccio in this for instance, closing down here, and also Ajer closing down here. So it does work. It does work both ways. In front of them, deep line playmaker on defense, like I said already. I like to have a playmaker there. The box-to-box midfielder works very well with someone like Kessie, and if you have someone similar to Kessie, his stats, the stamina, the natural fitness, the way he gets around the pitch with the tackling as well, the teamwork and the work rate, very good box-to-box midfielder, and it works fantastically well in this formation, because you do see him, although he is behind play, he does track back immediately, and that is what I like to see. Ahead of him, though, I have the two inside forwards, and I know a lot of people have been mentioning the new position, the inverted wingers, as a good option. I haven't actually used it myself. Maybe that would be something that I'm going to toy with in future with this formation, is using inverted wingers just to see if there's any difference, just to see if they see to get involved a little bit more. Maybe that's something that they will do, or because I've got it on forward, they're higher up the pitch. The way I play, maybe it suits that. I will like toy around with it, but because I'm used to playing from FM19, I stuck with inside forwards. This one, however, is something I didn't stick with from FM19, because I usually use an advanced playmaker, and my player on this game that I tend to have in that position is Lucas Paqueta. And Paqueta has very good stats, don't get me wrong, but I preferred him as an attacking midfielder, because with that, he has the ability to drive into the box a lot more rather than looking for the pass. And I prefer that. And I've noticed, and I'll show you stats, Lucas Paqueta has scored a lot of goals for me this season. He might even be the top goal scorer. 7 goals, 6 assists, 2 player of the matches. He's done phenomenally well from that position. The striker. Now this is what is going to be left up to debate. I have Piatek as a poacher because that is what Piatek is good at. I normally go for advanced forward, and if I was to probably do this formation with another team, I would probably go with advanced forward. But Piatek suits a poacher really well. Recently, it has worked for me very well with Piatek in that role. But if I had a different striker, I'd probably toy around with him as an advanced forward. So, from that then, I'm on positive mentality. And by the way, guys, I'm going to show you a little bit how this formation works in 2D. Because in 2D, if you didn't realise, you're looking down on the pitch. And that is the reason why, as well as because I'm a Championship Manager veteran from the good old days when FM was first beginning, when 2D was the only option. I always prefer 2D since then. And let's face it, the 3D match engine could be better. So I always prefer 2D, but when you're on 2D, you're on a bird's eye view. You can see the shape of your formation the whole time. And I'll show you a little bit more into that in a sec. So I have it on positive. In possession, so I have my fullbacks on attack, so I like them to overlap. I have 2 very good attacking fullbacks, and let me tell you, let's have a look. I mean, Rodriguez is there at the minute. 2 goals, 3 assists. Not bad, considering my other left back, Teo Hernandez, in the league, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 player of the matches. Both 2 player of the matches. Calabria, my other fullback, 4 assists, 2 man of the matches. So they get involved a lot in my attacks, and I tend to find them on the edge of the area during my attacks. And when you've got someone like Ricardo Rodriguez who can strike a ball, long shots of 13 is nothing to blink an eye at. It's very good. And they do score goals. They have a lot of shots. Teo Hernandez is exactly the same. I mean, his long shots are only 11, but there was one game where Teo Hernandez had like 4 shots on target. It was ridiculous. So I do like in possession, overlapping. I play out from the defence because I have 2 ball playing defenders. That works really well, and both of my fullbacks can use that. My passing directness, this is what I toy around with most in-game, is mainly the only one I toy around with until a result is happening, whether I'm holding on to a 1-0 lead or I'm pushing to come back. But I am on standard to begin with. When it gets to half-time, maybe I haven't scored a goal, I'll go a little bit more direct and see if that works, see if the pace of going more direct catches them out when I win that ball back on the second phase, if you will. I don't really tend to mess around with this unless I seem to be hitting a lot of long shots. Use work ball into the box if you see that you're having a lot of long shots, and I implore you, when you have your screen up in front of you during mid-game, to have your stats in front of you and have long shots up there, because if you notice if you're thinking, my word, I've got 14 shots, 12 on target, but I haven't scored a goal, why is that? If you have long shots up and you see, well, actually I've took 10 long shots, they could be 10 shots from about 40 yards out. Whack the ball into the box will start to prevent that. Your players will start thinking more about getting closer to the ball, closer to the net. So always, and shoot on sight, the opposite. So I don't really tend to go for anything like that. Run at defence, because I have very good dribbling inside forwards, and Lucas Paqueta, who is very good at that. So I do like to run at defence, terrify some defenders. Oh, I also pass into space, which when I turn that off, I see that they tend to not switch the ball as much. Whereas when I have pass into space, a lot of switches happen, and you're going to see, if you do come across to my channel, they switch the ball a lot, and I'll try and find a game in a sec where my fullbacks are scoring, because you'll see the ball get switched, and a lot of the time when my fullback scores, it's assisted by the other fullback, and I'll show you that in a sec anyway. My attacking width, I go for fairly narrow, because I like the overlap and I have inside forwards. That's really the main reason. In transition then, and this is really just pretty standard, I have Gen Press. Everyone knows what Gen Press is. We've seen it on Football Manager for a few years now. Pretty much Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp's style of counter press. Everyone, as soon as we lose the ball, attack them with counter. So as soon as you win that ball back, you run forward. So that is the counter. I only really play around with this if I'm chasing the game or I'm trying to hold on to a win. I slow the pace down. I always distribute to my defenders because I'm playing it out from defence, so there's pointless bypassing them in the first place, and I always take short kicks from my goalkeeper. Out of possession, so this is obviously the Gen Press thing, much high line of engagement and a higher defensive line. I stick to standard when defending because, to be honest, if I go too narrow, I get really annoyed with myself because there's too many crosses coming in. And if I go too wide, they always tend to find gaps. So I just stick to standard and just keep it as that. I like to prevent the short goal kicks, and I've scored a couple of goals I've noticed from doing that. And other than that, that is pretty much it. And I genuinely do not have any other player instructions on there for this. So from the recent match analysis, as you can see, final third entries, shoot to shots, conversion, very good. Opposition long range shots, so I'm keeping the opposition out. Touches in opposition penalty area, quite a lot, and you'll see that soon. Just a few that I'm going through there. It's set pieces stuff, lost possession, final third entries, yep. All that good stuff. Right, let's have a look at some gameplay then with this in action. So this is the first example I want to show you here. This is against Roma. Some nice play before Kesse bangs it in. But it's the second goal I really want you to take notice with. We're on the attack here. We've just dispossessed on that right-hand side. Calabria has the ball. Picks out Rodriguez, who is in time and space. Bang. So our fullbacks are pushing so high. And I'm going to try and get it back to that one again. So again, Rodriguez is involved in this goal as well. But it's been headed out. Back to Paqueta into Kesse. But look at where our defensive midfielder is. That's him here. Biglia at the time, just sitting in this gap. And as soon as he comes back, he's just sitting in this gap, minding this player here. We also have our two centre-backs at the back. But the ball is switched across. They have everyone back and they still can't handle that. So the next game I want to show you here, look at that. Spread it out to the wings. Both of our fullbacks very high at the pitch. Suso, an outrageous goal to be fair. But again, the next one, spread it out to Conti this time on the right hand side, and Suso plays it against the bar. Rafael Leao in as the poacher to poach the goal. Again, Rodriguez out wide on the overlap, back in. Biglia is the man at the back here to when the ball comes out to be recycled. he does just that. So it's another example there and a nice 3-0 victory against Sampdoria. Let's have a look for one more last example just to show you a little bit more. This time I'm going to really slow it down. So Calabria gets involved a lot in this game. A nice little 1-2 of Castellejo, plays it in. Rebic, the keeper should be saving it, but still Rebic with the header puts it in the net to make it 1-0. The second time, Calabria with a direct free kick, Piatek in with the goal as the poacher. But it's this third goal as well. Biglia's just dispossessed the ball, plays it out nicely into the space of Calabria, back in because we're not working the crosses, finding the space. Paqueta puts it in the net using Kesse, but if you have a look, 2 defenders, Biglia was there. If Kesse loses that ball, Biglia is first onto that, and if he isn't, we have 2 defenders still spare. All the time, we have them pinned into the box. And that is the beauty of this tactic, I feel. It's so attacking, but it's so clever with the ball. And I think that is why I've scored so many. Well, I haven't scored an abundance of goals, but I haven't conceded a lot. And I've won a lot of games 2-0, 3-0. With those sort of results. Comfortable wins is what I like. And there's actually been times where I've won the game 3-0 and all of my defenders have played blinders and the strikers have had boring games. So if you have a look at this game, we won 3-0 against Parma. I'm not going to show you the goals, but we won 3-0 and our defenders, 1 assist, the defensive midfielder, 1 assist, 1 goal, Frank Kesse, 1 assist, 1 goal, and the substitute left back, 1 goal. Very attacking from our defensive players, and our strikers and our midfielders, they had bang average games. They didn't really get involved. I substituted the striker off because he literally did nothing, but it didn't matter. I had so much attacking force. It was the defenders who were really, in the end, because they're on the ball so often, eventually got the goal. So I've really noticed in my team that the goals have been spread out a lot. So let's have a look at some player stats. So as you can see, obviously we're top of the league in January and our top goal scorer is on 7. However, we've only lost 1 or 2 games. Look how many different people are right behind in that closeness to scoring the amount of goals. Until you get down to Ricardo Rodriguez, Frank Kesse, Ante Rebic, Suso, Paqueta and Piatek, 5 of those players all on 5 or more goals already, and a lot of them has assists. I'm not exactly very happy with Piatek not getting any assists, but I suppose he is a poacher. But Paqueta, Suso banging in assists, even Ricardo Rodriguez of course with 3, Frank Kesse with the 6. We're doing very well and it's great to see. So there we have it, guys. That is my formation for you, the 4-2-3-1 isometric or asymmetric, however you say it. I'm going to try and work out how to leave a link to this formation down in the description below. So make sure you check down below if you'd like to try this formation or just simply copy it just from doing that. But I will put that in there for you so that you can try it out yourself and see if you get the same results as I do. But genuinely, I chose this formation at the start of the pre-season, barely tweaked it whatsoever, and it just seems to have worked for me. So let me know down in the comments if you're going to use this. Drop a like on this video, that would be fantastic. Let me know if you like these sort of tactic style videos and going into depth into a tactic, showing you in-game experiences where this tactic works. Let me know if you like that. And of course, if you want to see me continue this AC Milan save, this Let's Play, you can head on over to my channel where the link is down in the description below as well. Follow my journey through the beta with AC Milan, and after the beta, when the full game is released, I'm going to be doing Conquering Scandinavia. So I have to win all of the leagues, all of the cups in the 5 countries available to me on this game who are sort of classed as Scandinavia. I know there's a lot of controversy whether some of them are or some of them aren't. I'm classing them as they are just to make it a lot easier. But if it's something you want to watch, come along to the channel, join all the many people who have done so already, drop a subscribe, come along and enjoy the content. But thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the video, enjoy everything that you're seeing here on the FM Scout YouTube channel and on the website. I thank you very much for the support. Long may it continue, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.